Happy Tuesday, folks. It's August 19th. Welcome to the Kubeflow community call. Today, we're going to have some exciting agenda. But before we get started, I want to make sure that we review the CNCF Code of Conduct. Please be nice. Show kindness towards each other. Be respectful of different opinions, viewpoints, experiences. Make sure to give grace and be accepting of constructive feedback. And accept responsibility and apologize to others if you make a mistake. I do all the time. And make sure that we do what's best for the community, not just ourselves. And please use welcome and inclusive language. Thank you. And behind me, somebody is washing my windows. So sorry if you're hearing that. First of all, is there anybody new to the community that wants to kind of introduce themselves, tell us a little about themselves? No?
Hey, it's my first time joining the community meeting, actually. I have been working with Kubeflow for like the past 3 years, actually. I was in Ricto and I've been with Canonical for 2 years and something, 2.5 probably. And yeah, I reside in Greece. And my name is Orpheas Kourkakis, that's how it's pronounced. And I'm glad to be here. Because it's my first time joining the community meeting, although I've been working around it for many years.
Welcome, Orpheus. Very glad to have you. I've been to Greece before. It was amazing. You have the best food in Europe.
Glad to hear about it.
Where did you mention that you're working from?
Uh, I reside in Greece. Now I'm in an island. It's called Samos. I used to live in Athens for many years.
I think we
Okay,
said
great.
canonical.
Canonical. Okay, great.
Oh, I thought you meant the location. Yeah, I'm working for Canonical. Yeah, sorry.
He's also helping with our GSOC students. So Kimonas and Orpheas are helping with Project 3, which includes the STO topic.
Gotcha. Awesome. Cool. Akash, I think, is there anybody else new that wanted to introduce themselves?
By the way, I'm just gonna reject your weird suggestions here. Can we just like stop doing whatever's happening here?
There's things.
Yo, guys. Yeah. Okay.
There's multiple of these. Yeah, that's
Oh my
fine.
god, what's happening?
I think they're figuring it out. Okay, cool. So we can get started to talk about KubeCon India, and I think there's KubeCon North America. Correct? Did you wanna go?
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, KubeCon India. We have got the offer from Yash and Akash to share their experience during the KubeCon India. So they will. I'm not sure if they are maybe in the call. Maybe Akash is in the call. So we will agree with the form that how they could share their experience, maybe a blog or a video. So that to be discussed. So that's for KubeCon India with regarding like the outreach. Then for KubeCon NA, we are looking for sponsors. So we have posted that through the social media channels. So really encouraged if some folks that could help in that would be really appreciated. And also the Kubeflow Summit NA schedule is also available and public as well. So yeah, I think that's all from the outreach.
Awesome.
Regarding sponsors, how do people reach out?
Yeah, it's in the event link. I'll share it as well in the chat.
For Kubeflow Summit or North? Because I imagine for KubeCon you have to be an actual CNCF sponsor. Do you mean down here? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's the same. I did that either way, right? How do they reach out? I guess just reach out to this email. Is that correct? sponsor? Actually?
It's a link in the event. I'll share it right.
Okay, cool. And to be clear, we're talking about the co-hosted event here, not for this KubeCon overall. I mean, either way, obviously.
Yeah, for the, specifically for the Kubeflow Summit sponsor. Yes.
Please reach out to, and then just add whatever your link is here, please. And so what kind of, I mean, I don't know if you want to say it, but what kind of dollar amounts or sponsorship are you talking about so that people can get an idea of what you're asking for?
Yeah, this is governed by the CNCF, so they have really large description about like the sponsorship levels and the benefits and so on. I shared it in the link here in the chat. And
Oh, yes. Oh, I thought you were going to link it. Sorry. But so are they meant to reach out to the sponsor at CNCF email or the link?
Yes, yeah, the
Okay.
CNCF. Yes.
Let me just put that thing for you then. I'll put both. I'll put the PDF link and I'll put the other link as well. Cool. And so I guess I don't know what the minimum is, but if you're a company and you want to sponsor, please do. That's all I want to say. Maybe you could sell it as like, what do you get? What do they get? Do they get to speak at all or something?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of like benefits in general that is in the CNCF. So that would be like covering like what are the benefits that you get when you become sponsor for one of the co-hosted events or in KubeCon in general. So there, it's all mentioned. Want to go into details because it's a really large document. So, yeah, there is available also more the details about the amounts and what kind of levels for the sponsorship and so on.
So the India thing, I think, there's lots of people that hand up, I think, about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Anya, did you want to go? I think that gives me the list in order.
Yeah, just I'm curious whether you're planning to organize some kind of Kubeflow booth at the KubeCon NA this time, and if so, I'm looking for any volunteers.
I think Valentina is organizing that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the answer is yes. I think, right? But I think the matter of timing and stuff, because last time we need to make sure that it's staffed and things like that. So, I'd say if you want to participate, please reach out to. Do we have a channel, guys?
Yes, the Kubeflow outreach.
Okay, I'd say yeah, maybe talk in that channel, Kubeflow-outreach on the. I'll put a note here, I guess then.
Got you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, we'll have a booth on KubeCon NA, so we definitely need to have more people to help us. So Annie, please, if you can start a thread and then we can ping all the folks in the Kubeflow outreach, we can, reach out to Valentina and she will allocate time for all of us.
Yeah, +1. Cool. Cool. All right, release update. Is there anything else more on KubeCon North? Oh, David, did you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I just wanted to, I put it in the chat, but it looks like Red Hat will be sponsoring the Kubeflow Summit, probably at the gold level. We're still sort of negotiating at what level, but I think we're right about landed on gold, so we'll at least be a sponsor for that.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Lords above.
Nice.
I'm gonna say that David is the person solely responsible for that. So thank you, David. Akash, did you want to? You have your heavy hand raised.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. I was trying to add. I somehow messed up the.
Oh, okay. You want to speak about the KubeCon idea? Okay, great.
Yeah. So me and yes, I think that question mark is yes. We both. I work in here in Hyderabad. We help to host the booth at KubeCon India for Kubeflow. Jonu had, I think, 2 talks. One he was giving as his company Nutanix, and one along with like for Kubeflow. I think I did share the pictures in our Slack channel. So it was amazing experience. Both I think this is my second KubeCon, second in India, and my second KubeCon. The whole experience of attending KubeCon, again, that is separate thing. That was amazing. Meeting a lot of people, a lot of networking, especially coming to KubeCon booth. It was amazing. Like again, I think me and Andrew had a call before. He was asking how what are the questions and everything. First observation, which I think I'll be sharing in the blog or whatever, how we're saying, like a lot of people actually know about the Kubeflow. It's not like I remember there was like I helped to host the booth for I think 2 to 3 hours. There were like 60 to 70 people total who came up with question. Out of them, almost 50, like let's say you can say 50 or 60% knew about Kubeflow, what it is, what it does. So that is one good thing. Coming to experience or question, they asked two things which majorly like they asked was how they can use Qflow in their like org or company. Like they know what it does. They want to understand better how they want to use or how like any real use case, like how any XYZ company or XYZ is using org. So that was first question. Second was majorly like they were like there is this XYZ which is very similar to Qflow. How Qflow is better? Like you won't believe how out of almost half of them are like they're already using some XYZ software or tool, open source tool, maybe some closed source tool. There were I think few one of the sponsor were all which were also like similar to Qflow. They're like what it is better. So I really like all the interaction, learn a lot of things, even knew a lot of tools which I didn't know. So I think one particular instance I would like to highlight, there is like two people from ICICI and SBI Bank. Those are like India's top two banks. You generally, at least I used to consider those to be like very legacy org or companies, but they're one of the very senior, like two of the senior folks from those companies. They're like, we already use Qflow in this XYZ tool. Now we want to expand it, or now we want to use it more. So can you tell me more about that? So yeah, these are the few experience which I really like. Maybe we'll be sharing a blog or I think blog for now, telling about our experiences for Qflow booth and the events. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That's great to hear. Yeah, very, very excited about your experience there, and thank you for bringing that info to the community. I think there's a lot to be learned from it. We continue to try to spread the gospel of Kubeflow. We have to do it bottoms up and top down, right, where we can, for those of us who meet with senior executives at these companies, and then also those of us who can make sure that the engineering story is really impactful. I think it's super important. I think it's ultimately people who write code that make good stuff that people like to use, and then also business executives that say do thing X,
Yeah.
like Gen AI this week.
Always encourage everyone to contribute and join the meetings. Like if they don't know where to contribute, join specific meetings for tools that they depend on and things like that.
Yes.
Yep.
Always the best
We
way to
did
help.
share the QR code. I think there was a QR code as well where they can scan, they can see components, like various components, as well as even join community calls if they're interested to use, learn, maybe contribute. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, I would like to chime in. Just wanted to share, I was also part of the KubeCon India. This is Rajin. I work for HCL. I guess I met Akash and a few others at Kubeflow booth, and that's how I got to know about these calls, and I was interested and I, happened to understand these meetings and join today. So thank you, Akash, and everyone else for sharing those insights.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So let's see.
I just always
So
want.
release update. Oh, go ahead.
I just was saying I always want to just put that on there because if we have a latest release, Julius, do you want to quickly say should people update to it? Maybe he's not here.
Yes, it's ready. It's being used in production by many customers, especially if you are interested in security improvements. So there's a lot of security hardening, and please try it out and provide feedback. So
Are
I'm
you
using
kidding, Julius? I heard everybody loves insecure software. What are you talking about? Why would it? Why
Of
would
course, it depends on which distribution people are using, but yes, please take a look if you're a distribution and whatnot. Okay. Cool. Just always wanted to keep that on the line. I keep that on the agenda, you know.
Cool.
Okay.
Matthew and Andre, FOSSA license.
Andre, you do you want to? So obviously, if what we're talking about here is like there's a tool that the CNCF uses for license scanning, like making sure you don't use licenses the CNCF does not approve. We're trying to get it set up properly. There is a few kinks in the setup process. I think we might need to. I think someone might have removed its ability to touch some parts of the org. But once we add it, I just want to warn everyone that it will block PRs that use licenses that are not allowed. So like, and so we need to make sure that if there is an issue that's like a false positive, which is pretty common, because there's a lot of, licenses are complicated. We're not lawyers, but if something is a transitive dependency or a dev dependency, sometimes it's not important. Things like that. If you don't know, I guess we should probably have a channel people can reach out to privately for license advice. But there's a website. It's called FOSSA. I'll just link it. Just link. Okay, so I'll link it here, but like I probably need to link it for each of the major ones. So if you're a working group maintainer and you don't have, like, at least one person from each working group needs to have access, is what I'm saying. And they need to be the primary contact or something like that. So you get an email when things go wrong. And to be able to dismiss false positives and stuff. So like links, so like I'll link them here. But Andre, do you want to talk about how we can implement this? And this is part of graduation, obviously.
So I think all of the working groups already have an access.
Okay.
At least like
sure
who
about
reach out to us. I think we should probably fix license issue before we enabling this on the PRB. Because that will block all the PRs.
Obviously, most of them are going to be false positives, but yes.
Yeah. So I mean, like the action items of working group is to log in and fix all the license issues, and then enable this as part of your pull request.
So I think we need to actually, an admin of the org needs to enable the bot on that repo, though. I think maybe it got removed previously when we accepted it for one of them. But because I haven't seen it block the PRs yet, despite it blocking, because it's only blocked them on the model registry people, which I guess is the second topic I want to ask. Like, what's happening there, Matteo?
We're experiencing some problem with this new integration. Happy to align, but sort of like the experience that I'm having right now is that at times with the GitHub app, it fails for the security and the dependency scans.
But it shouldn't be running those at all. Like those ones are not enabled.
I agree, but the reality is like when the GitHub app connected now on at least 3 PRs, as documented in Slack, it just blocked them because, FOSSA is running some dependency and some security scan. Well, sure, but it's like that. It took a day. It took a day before.
I think the problem is. Okay, we need to check. But so first off, you've removed that GitHub action, right?
That GitHub action is currently disabled, so it's not running at the moment since Saturday.
Okay, and
Saturday I disabled that.
So I have a suspicion that we might need to have an admin also enable the webhooks so that the webhook triggers the thing whenever a PR is made. So, Andre, do you want to go through that after the meeting? I think we should.
I'm wondering. We can discuss it in the Kubeflow contributor Slack channel, but I'm wondering why we just cannot use the GitHub action rather than using the FOSSA app.
No, the problem is the GitHub action requires us to post a token publicly.
No, what is the problem with token?
No, like someone else can push to the repo. It's like we can do it in a secret, but anyway, it is recommended by to start starting to use the app according to FOSSA. That's what I'm saying. It should work. Yeah. It should work.
Yeah, let's discuss it next week. Like again,
what I'm saying is, I think the answer is let's fix model registry in the short term because I think the issue is just that it's not running, not that it's not.
Correct. Yeah, I can see new PRs doesn't have the FOSSA app, right? So
what I'm saying is the answer I think is just to enable the webhook.
I have a counter proposal, if I may. So it's like what I tried to do from Saturday and yesterday is like I've deleted the project from Fossa, Kubeflow moderator from Fossa. I imported it again, but the behavior is the same. So here is my suggestion, if you want. It's like we didn't experience the problem before with the GitHub action. And yes, it's limiting because it only run on main. The problem about the push token, I don't think is a problem because it Fossa, if I remember correctly on the documentation, filter the one that are originating from the specific repo. So here is my suggestion. I leave that GitHub action anyway disabled for the time being. And I propose that somebody that has both Fossa access and admin access to the GitHub repo of Kubeflow mod registry. I don't. Delete the project again from Fossa, import it again from the start, and sort of like aligns the same setup that is available for the other repos. Because I'm afraid that since I don't have all the admin rights, maybe when I'm importing the project, something is not really going as expected.
That's what the answer is yes, but Andre, I think you can fix it and let's talk after the meeting, but I'm pretty sure it's just that the webhook needs to be created to trigger the Fossa to do something. That's what I'm saying. And then you can just, there's a page under the settings to do, that you need admin on the repo to do that though.
Which I don't have, so I rely on Andre.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, and we can, talk, with Casey whether we can give you admin access as well.
I mean, yeah, it shouldn't be necessary because it's a one-off thing, but yeah, like we obviously try and avoid admin on repos. Usually.
Yeah, it was previously enforced by Google, but I don't know if we should still maintain it. But anyway,
because admin allows you to add other people. That's kind of the funny thing.
Anyway, so we can move on. I think we can follow up this offline.
Yeah, the only thing that I wanted to avoid is that I was blocked in merging PRs. That's the only thing that I would like to.
Yeah. So
I'm pretty sure we can fix it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we can fix it just by adding the hook. And because I know that you're the guinea pig here. I think the only reason you're affected is because you have the GitHub app enabled on your one, whereas we don't on the other ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm suggesting. If you want to even to cancel the Fossa project and recreate it again, I'm happy.
I don't think it's necessary anymore. I think it should be fine now because it's got the correct project locator.
As you want. I'm happy to test it a third time. No problem at all. But I would like just not to be blocked on PR mergers.
Yeah, of course. I can't see any that are currently blocked, but
currently no. But yesterday evening, yes.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. And I think, okay.
Oh, and so yeah, I forgot to say why we're doing this. Obviously, this is for the graduation, and we're gonna try and make sure that we're compliant with all the licenses.
Okay, cool. And I added quickly to the agenda an update. Andre, did you want to share some exciting news?
Oh yeah. So yeah, definitely. Yeah, maybe I hope Wara can join this call. Maybe they can do it next time. Yeah, like one thing that we just voted with KSC, like was a proposal from AWS team to donate MCP server for Spark History server. So I think we find agreement across KSC members that we want to move forward. I think this is great. I think overall the idea from AWS folks to provide more intelligence around Spark. And I think this is the good start for them to slowly iterate. Like if you remember, like they gave us a demo, like I think 1.5 months ago, around those solutions. And actually, when I built around Spark Sense AI and other agents, which helps customers to debug Spark application. So this is great. I think exciting to move this forward and exciting to see how Kubeflow can play more role in this AI ops field, because I think definitely there are more things to talk about and how our tools could be helpful with all this agentic era right now. Yeah, any questions so far for this? I can link the proposal here for those who are interested.
Is it like a KEP or is it?
Yeah, right now, yeah, it's a KEP, and also Vara filled the application to join Kubeflow project basically.
What's it called? Spark. No?
Yeah, it's MCP Spark History Server.
Is AWS from AWS?
Yes. Let me link it here.
We have the original link. Oh. I'm trying to find its repo. Where is it under?
Yeah, I just link it in the community notes.
I think I found it. Oh, that's the PR, but like, it's that, right? Is this the correct?
Yeah,
Makes-
it's a good question, Sad, actually, around like, shall we have this as official Kubeflow, project, or like previously called components, right? Yes, I think this is definitely like the things we should talk about in the future, because like they kind of separating Spark history server from Spark operator. And yes, we need to think about like what would be the name for all those, Spark based initiatives across the community, right? Yeah, because they again we have users who just use Spark History Server and maybe using Spark Submit. We have customers who use Spark Operator without Spark History Server. So basically, they want to have this separation. And MCP Server right now will live together with Spark History Server. Yeah, so basically, MCP allows other agent builders to plug in this as a tool for them to create those AI agents, right? And talk to Spark History Server.
So to be clear, but they're not donating it to us, though. Is that not what's happening?
Yeah, they want to. No, they want to transfer the repo from.
Oh, okay, they do. Okay, they do.
Yeah. From this depth diagnostic AI. Yes, this is the org that AWS recently started.
Cool. Any next steps here for the community then, or what's gonna happen here?
No, I think like Vara maybe, and I will ask Vara and Manabu maybe join this call in 2 weeks, and we can talk about this again.
Cool.
And yeah, we'll probably be sending out an official announcement soon about this. Yeah, actually, Andre, I'm happy to do the email and junk if you want.
Yeah, we should definitely announce and Kubeflow discuss. I think eventually, I would love us as a community to really think about, agentic workloads, and so more and more, if there are any proposals from active folks within the community or anything you want to talk about, MCP A2A and how, Kubeflow tools could be useful, definitely reach out or start some sort of thread discussions.
Oh, be careful about approving that, Kip. Let's. What I'm saying is like, can we get confirmation that the Spark operator maintainers are happy? Because like obviously they're the ones who'll be maintaining this, presumably. I know that he's one of them, but I'm like, that's one person, right? I just want to make sure that they're okay with taking on board a maintaining of a project, right? Before we say that Kubeflow is adopting something. Also, we need to follow the legal side first as well.
We can take that part offline.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I just want to make sure, because like I'm sure they are, but I just want to, get confirmation from them.
Yeah, Spark operator folks are aware. We started this thread like 2 months ago.
But they want to maintain it. That's the question. Because I don't want to get.
So the guys
positive.
who will maintain it's part of AWS as of now. It's part of EMR team. And
so don't we have a process for donation? Like that they have to follow like.
Yeah, they followed the submission.
Yeah.
Do they though? Because like if there's only one company represented.
Yeah, we do have a process like here, right? And if you take a look in the check marks here, it's basically you can leave like your points here, but I think overall like the final decision for project adoption up to KSC, and we'd already discussed it for like last 2 months, and we kind of like find an agreement to move this forward, at least like for this type of process, right?
Yeah.
I only see Amazon people. That's my only slight concern. I thought we had a process about that.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so like, I guess I'll be blunt and I'll share my opinion on this because I have nothing to hide. Like, I am pro business, and I want to make sure that our AWS partners and friends feel welcome. And I think having more large enterprises involved is a good thing. And I think that's a really important statement to make. There's a lot of representation from Red Hat. I love that because I work at Red Hat, but we also definitely want to make sure that Kubeflow feels welcome to other places. And so I think them donating this MCP Spark History Server project adds a lot of value to the community. That's why we all ultimately in the KSC decided to approve it.
So like that's great, but like projects are projects, right? So like my concern is that what sometimes happens is that people donate things, but then they lose interest, and then someone else has to pick up slack.
Yeah,
that's why we have that process usually.
And again, the
So
case
like where is the like mitigation of that? Because I know for Red Hat we put a lot of requirements on them for model registry, for example.
Yeah,
we actually put this requirement for AWS as well. It's a good question. Actually, we discussed this with them I think 2 weeks ago, around their commitment to this project. And similar to model registry, I think Vara gave me confirmation that they're waiting to maintain this at least for a year. So similar, I guess, README. I think we asked, if I remember correctly, Matteo, to put the same for model registry in 2023, right? It was a pledge, right? Red Hat's pledge, right?
Yeah,
I just
there
don't
is like
see it.
there is in the README is one of the things that I made sure that I can be maintaining the README. If you scroll to the top, you will see
Yep.
possibly just after the badge.
Yeah, obviously I see that for model registry. I just want to make sure that it's in the proposal somewhere in writing, or just like, again, I'm still a little bit concerned about only having 2 maintainers, but yes, like it's
Yeah.
Yeah, I can ask. Yeah,
like,
I can ask.
I'm not against Amazon. I'm not against any of these people. It's just like I want to make sure that we actually have a sustainable project overall. Like that's the part that I'm most concerned about. It's not
Yeah.
about
Yeah. I think this is valid concern, Matthew, but at the same time, we don't want to lose momentum. So the thing is, like around all this, agentic project right now, it's happening. Yes, Kubernetes kind of stay behind, and Kubeflow and all the CNC projects stay behind because not all of them, but many of them, because we have the process we've been established like for years, and because we maintain stability. But at the same time, because of that, right now it's really hard for Kubernetes to move forward and adopt new technologies. And I already saw a lot of complaints from maintainers and users and other folks within cloud native space that hey, like we have all these exciting tools, but because Kubernetes require you 2 years to push feature to upstream, folks cannot really adopt Kubernetes for more advanced workloads. And I think in the phase we live right now, especially, in all this what's happening in AI, we should make an exceptions to, to make sure, we stay on the trend. But at the same time, yes, we can see the same problems with stability, right, and other things. So
yeah, because like our value, like these are all problems with the overall ecosystems, but like our value is the counter to that. And like if we don't, like, it's not that this is an impossible problem to solve, it's a good hurdle to put there is all I'm saying. Because if it's like if they can't even get one other person to be interested before they
and
donate.
they already so what they told me, and I think I wish Vara will be here and talk more about it, but we already have companies who are interested. Like I cannot say how serious they are and how they will contribute, because again, it's super hard to grow the new open source project. But as far as I know, like they have organizations who are also like willing to help, collaborate with them on these initiatives.
Like I get that, but I just want to see like, I don't want
Like
it to be.
your concern is to putting there in the proposal directly.
Yeah, I just want to be like I think that's what we required of other projects. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like I don't want to have a double standard for them, even if it's like, because otherwise it makes it very hard for us to make statements in the future about like, hey, when you want to donate something, you need to have 2 companies. Like why? Like maybe this is a great project. I don't know. I've never used it, but yeah.
So I guess my view on that is, and this is outlined in the guidelines of that like there's an application process, and ultimately the decision is up to the KSC, and it's made with the data that's provided in the application. And the reason that we had come to a conclusion with the KSC, and by the way, I drafted that process before I joined the KSC, and after like a year long, maybe of this deliberating it is what we concluded on that. And my view always was that the KSC has to make a risk-weighted decision about what's best for the community, the growth, the health of the community, and the growth of the community, and what's novel. And I agree with your concerns, Matt, in making sure that we like validate that it's not just going to have 1 or 2 people contributing to it. It becomes an uninteresting project.
I'm not even worried about that. I'm more worried about it just like not being maintained. Like
Yeah.
that's actually my bigger concern. Like it's like
I think that's a real
like
concern.
it's not that, like my concern is not even like, and that's what I'm trying to highlight. Like that's like the thing that the process should try and guarantee, right? And I worry that in this case, like, has that been followed? Maybe yes, maybe it hasn't. But like, also that's a question that people will ask when they want to adopt it, right?
Yeah, I hear you.
And so all I'm saying is like, I'm sure we can get some commitment from Amazon. Great. Is there anyone else? If not, then how are we mitigating it? Of course, you guys can do whatever you want, but like, it's just my concern. That's all.
Yeah, I appreciate your concerns, Matt. Yeah, I think they're very.
I think I mean I think all these valid points, Matthew. I mean I agree with you. Again, I think as I said before, from our point of view, at least like from my point of view, on this front, we should take risk, and definitely we should maintain value neutrality and grow the community across multiple organizations. Unfortunately, we just Kubeflow is not in this stage right now because like the thing is like we cannot really. It's not something we can right now mitigate. It's something like we expect to mitigate by changing the scope or expanding the scope to be more relative, be more relevant to the like use cases folks try to solve as of today, right? That is why we switch in 2022 to Gen AI from traditional ML, which mostly all of our project was designed to attract more audience and be more relevant in this space. And yes, this will like end up with risks that some projects will get archived, some projects will get like removed. And this is what's happening not only with Kubeflow, but with many open source projects today, because as you see, like what's happening with the new frameworks, they kind of like being deprecated, updated all the time, right? It's not only the Kubeflow problem, right? I think we just need to take a reality and make sure we do what is the best for the community for the long term, right?
So I think this is fine. Like we always had this process, but I think we should, I just would suggest that we make sure that as part of the process, we have some check-in or something, like we used to have a process to go from initial donate, like a incubation kind of thing. We don't call it that, but you know what I mean? Like alpha beta thing. Like, cause then it's like, otherwise we end up in these pseudo kind of unknown states where it's like, is this a maintained project? Is this not? What's the criteria to make it a official project that's going to be said forever, as much as forever as possible? But that's all I'm saying is, I'm not saying that we need to solve it in this particular case, but
yeah, makes sense. I mean, I agree, and I mean, again, my only is ask and maybe recommendation here for the community. If anyone have suggestions how we can improve the process, please submit the PR, and we can definitely review it, because it's not only 5 of us who make a decision. We like always want to hear the community, and based on like how we together iterate, we will update the process, right?
I think, yeah,
like
my question is some of the same as some of what Jan is saying. Like, why is this not just being merged into Spark Operator?
Yeah, and we already discussed this.
Okay, what was the answer?
I can talk about it right now if we have time, but yeah.
Yeah, they actually respect. So like, let's circle back. The PR's there. If you want, you can review some of the things we discussed there. We're also happy to talk about it offline. On the PR, even again, like that's separate from the KSC decision. I think ultimately the KSC is the group empowered to make this decision. We've already voted. We're welcome to take feedback from the community. We really do. We have a survey that we're going to be producing where we'll get that feedback explicitly. And so all this is in favor of that. And so
my only suggestion then, like my verbal suggestion, is to make sure that we indicate what level of project adoption something has, so that like what are you actually voting to accept it as? Obviously, you're not accepting it as a production maintained project because it doesn't meet a lot of the criteria for that. So what are you accepting it as?
As we've talked before, like production is the loaded term.
Whatever, like it's obviously not on the same level as pipelines or notebooks. So what is it then? That's kind of what I'm trying to ask.
We don't have a clear process right now for incubation because we just get it started. We'll never get a process to, some projects want to join the Kubeflow umbrella, right? Like we've never had this process before, right? We just introduce this like once we transfer the Spark operator and model registry. And from my point of view, this was quite successful because like we get more traction from data folks, and we right now have end-to-end ML story. And even that, the process was not ideal, but at least we iterate, right? Which means like, again, in a phase we live right now, it's important to iterate and important not to just get lost at all those processes that we established before.
I would argue that
even
those
that they're good
projects
processes,
are
right?
quite different. Like Spark Operator was used by thousands of companies. This is a unknown project
Yeah,
by one vendor, which
I
has
think
42
like
stars.
Yeah, that's right. I think we're just waiting to take a risk.
It's the other way around. I think it's more important that we just remove projects that are unmaintained. If it doesn't turn out well, and the new project kit is not properly maintained, and we'll remove it at some point in the future. So that's the important part. I would like to give them the chance to prove that they maintain it well, and if not, they will be gone.
So these are
We'd
great.
rather kick out instead of doing slow onboarding.
So either way around, that's the same statement. I'm just saying we need to have a process. We need to have a life cycle definition, and that means we need to agree on that as a community. That's all I'm saying. And as part of that, I'm not saying it needs to block this, but I'm just saying like, presumably there would be onboarding and offboarding steps, and then criteria for such things.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm suggesting. Like, because I really don't want to have like hundreds of people suggesting committing projects and then like
there might be an offboarding step in that.
I'm not sure it's super defined as like how we trigger the process and things like that, but yeah.
I think I intentionally left it vague again to give the KSC a little bit of discretion to say like we'll review.
But I don't. But that's like you got to think of it from both a user and a contributor perspective as to whether vagueness would be an acceptable. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think let's see. And we're going down the wrong rabbit hole. Is my
no. All I'm saying is like that's like. I doubt many people will use a tool unless they can. I mean, some people will adopt it no matter what, but. Because that's what don't forget, we're hurting if it goes wrong, we're hurting our brand a little bit. That's all I'm saying as well. Like you know, that's all I'm saying.
Some of these things just get into speculation. I don't think that matters, blunt. You know,
all that we really are is a group of people who work together on a common problem, right?
Yeah, I agree with that, but there's nuance. Where is it? What was the? I wrote it and I can't even remember where it is.
So I think it would be maybe under.
I know you have a pending PR, Francisco. So Matthew, do you want to propose changes to the Francisco PR? You know, to this how-to process, how we can.
I mean, the how-to is like just an information gathering, as you were saying. The thing I want to do is have a community just agree, like on whatever it is. I don't care how we agree or what we agree on. I just want to make sure that we're consciously making a decision. That's really.
Yeah. Do you want to raise a proposal then to have this, life cycle of the incubation project? Because, and revive this, like we have this alpha, beta, V1 scope previously, but there's never like a good chance to work on it. Like,
I think at very least, my perspective is there should be at least 3 groups, right? Testing,
yeah, do you want to
GA, and then offboarding.
Yeah, instead of speaking here, do you want to create a cap?
I mean, I could, but I don't necessarily speak for the whole community, right? That's kind of what I'm saying.
No, but I mean, if you want to propose something, why not creating the proposal, right? And we can discuss it.
All I'm asking is that the KSC does it. I think it's a responsibility of the KSC, to be honest.
Yeah, like I think what we want to say here, like we kind of also looking for community feedback and more on some sort of, like if you want to have a new process, let's create the proposal and discuss it, right? Because again, this is a new process, right? That Francisco was started, I think, 2 years ago. It's probably not ideal. I agree 100%. It needs to be improved, but we need to start with something, right? And someone needs to initiate the discussion, right?
But yeah, I mean, the broader point is it's very straightforward to find 100 reasons wrong with something, and that's fine, especially to do it during this chat. But I think it's a lot more productive to open up the PR and say like, well, here's my proposal of what we can do instead. And again, I welcome the feedback, Matthew. I think it's great. Open to improving the process. Let's do that in a PR.
What I'm suggesting is that this is like something that needs to be the responsibility of the KSC, right? It needs to be driven by you guys, like because it's a maturity thing of the project. Like, yeah, we have.
I
don't have this. I think
actually, I disagree. I think so. I think it should not be only driven from the KSC. I think I don't know if Josh is still here, but for many years, we've been operating in a way that community propose something and we kind of KSC have a final decision, but it doesn't mean that KSC will do all the work for all the community. If some of the new process can be improved or needs to be adopted, we always welcome to the suggestions, right? And we are looking for some volunteers, right, who can drive this new process. So it doesn't mean like we will establish all the processes and other community just follow it, right? This is not how been Kubeflow been within the community for the last 7 years, right? Before even steering committee was established, right?
I mean, people can disagree with me. I just feel like it is a critical part of the future of the project to have this process. And I mean, I don't. If literally no one else will do it, I have worries about the project. But I will do it in that case.
Well, I
Okay.
guess my point is, if no one else will do it, then maybe no one else cares enough.
That's what I'm saying. That would be a very, very big red flag for the project for me, because it seems like if we're wanting to adopt projects, we need to have a process to do so in a way that is sustainable.
I mean, I think the last check on that is actually the KSC, and like that's why there's the kind of subjectivity to make a risk-based decision about what makes sense for the project. Because I agree with you. If we're a dumping ground of other projects, that's not a good thing either. I agree with that fundamentally. You know,
So let's just put things in place to make it so that that doesn't happen. That's what I'm saying. And we can even have both. Like we can have lots of donations happening at the same, as long as we have a process. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not suggesting. Yeah, that's all I'm asking.
technically, I think like that process got merged when I was a part of the KSC. So to go back to your previous point, I think the KSC did actually
Sure.
ultimately agree to a process on what it looks like to be, donated
For donation, yes. But yes.
adoption. I think we actually moved it back. I know that it went back and forth about it, joining the Kubeflow ecosystem. Yeah.
Sure. Anyway, we can probably talk about this more later. But anyway,
Actually, so I just want to we spent like 10 minutes on this.
Yes.
We have a process, right? And so
Cool.
like, I just want to emphasize that. All right, we can move on. I think Orpheus might not have had a chance to speak to his Istio ambient mesh. But with the 6 minutes that we have left, Orpheus, I would really love to give that time. I would have liked to give.
Hey, so this is there's an issue in the manifest that has been hanging there for the past year or so, and we worked on creating a proposal that so the like very quickly what the proposal is trying to do is to have a high level overview of how Kubeflow can actually integrate with Istio Ambient, because there are some incompatibilities. And by proposing a high level design, it also outlines the limitations that and the updates that we need essentially to do in components in order to be able to support Istio Ambient in the Kubeflow platform. The high level design is not something that needs to be imposed by Kubeflow manifest. Anyone can do its distribution, and its user can do their own configuration, but it's mainly outlined in order to serve in order to showcase that that Kubeflow can actually support Istio Ambient, and also figure out like what needs to be changed probably in some components. Yeah, I could do a more extensive presentation, but we don't have that much time. And I think I just wanted to bring some attention, because right now only Julius has left a review there, and I think more people could the PR could benefit from more feedback probably.
I mean, maybe you could explain the basics of ambient mesh, that it uses eBPF for some speed up regarding some network layers, or what are the current limitations, for example, that we still need one waypoint proxy and don't have zero overhead namespaces.
Yes, so I think in the issue it's also like the issue was, I think it was created by an Istio maintainer actually, and the reason for supporting Istio Ambient is that that it reduces a lot the memory and the CPU consumption, because essentially it removes all sidecars from all pods, so you only have it's using Z tunnel and waypoints. Waypoints is like a proxy, and uh, and and yeah, given the amount of pods that can exist in username spaces and in the control plane as well, I think the platform can achieve a greater, can be much more lightweight and can achieve a greater efficiency
So
in regards to
so my question
networking.
is, are you proposing this, like, obviously Istio is not part of Kubeflow, right? So like, but obviously, what about the current Kubeflow is blocking Istio ambient mesh? That's my question for you. You know what I mean? Like, you could use it
Yeah.
with it, presumably.
So there are two things. One is that Istio ambient works with Kubernetes Gateway API, and so essentially, for components, in order to serve either Kubeflow components or either user components like notebook servers, for example, you need to create the corresponding gateway API resources like HTTP routes, which is the corresponding of virtual services that's been done now in sidecar mode, and also those HTTP routes need to be attached to the gateway, to the Kubernetes API gateways. Um, so they need to be able to support to accept arguments somehow, to be able to be configurable enough. So the HTTP routes are mounted to this one thing. And the second thing is that right now Istio ambient does not. So there's this thing with Waypoint. Istio ambient, like a major change they did is that they separated L4 and L7 features. So if you only use L4 features, you can skip deploying waypoints, and that's much more efficient. But for user namespaces, we're using L7 features, so we will need waypoints. The waypoints are like gateways with a gateway class of Istio waypoint. So it's like a specific proxy, an Istio kind of proxy. And in order to achieve the setup, we need to create waypoints in its user namespace. I think that's like the high level.
Is this just a documentation question, like just of how distributions can choose to do it, or?
No, it's also, for example, the
what I'm saying is, like,
controller.
are you proposing dropping support for non-ambient Istio? Is my question.
No. What this proposes is the high-level overview that the goal of it is to be part of like an overlay of Kubeflow manifest, and also the changes that will need to be like from this proposal. You can derive the changes that need to be implemented in Kubeflow controllers in order to be able to support Istio in ambient mode, because right now we only support Istio in sidecar mode.
Julius, you muted. I mean, there's a question.
The only limitation. I also talked to the founder of Solo.io, and so the company behind Istio. The only limitation right now is we still need one waypoint proxy per user namespace. Hopefully in the future we can get around this, because then Istio ambient would be would just be in every aspect better than Istio CNI. Istio CNI already gets you the rootless part, it helps a lot. But Istio ambient then is in another performance optimization.
And does our auth work? Does our current default auth example reference spec work with the with the injection of namespaces and usernames and stuff?
What do you mean?
Like, does it all of our we're doing quite a complicated Istio auth in our reference spec, right? Does it still work?
Yeah. I've also, like, in the proposal, there's also POC. I have a repo there. You can. I mean, it's manual because it's not like fully automated, but you can follow the POC and everything works.
We have massive automated testing now in Kubeflow/manifest.
This is just my only concern is just like we should have only one default in the reference. That's all I'm saying. Like that. If this is a pattern that people need to implement in the controllers, that's a separate discussion. But like, obviously, there is an overhead to doing that. So, I guess that it's a question for what benefit we get, right, as part of the project. But yeah.
Long term, that's the future of Istio ambient. So long term, that's going to happen. The question is just when, how much effort do you put into it?
Yeah, right now versus like, are we, because my worry is that we implement it and then we make it like we have the same problem but in reverse. Like people who don't use SDO ambient are having problems, you know?
No, that's not messing up with how. I mean, the proposal doesn't doesn't propose any changes that will mess up with how components work with STO in sidecar mode.
Because the main thing you're actually proposing is that every controller implement a way of doing this without authorization policies. Sorry, without
No.
sidecars. And
Yeah.
And change the way, presumably there's a config in each resource that needs to change.
Yeah, and it's in like controllers, in those specific controllers that need to be, it's not a lot of them. And you can configure them to work with sidecar or with ambient.
I mean, this is definitely, the HTTP routes and stuff like that are definitely something we're discussing as part of Notebooks 2.0 as well to support non-SDO deployments. So, I mean, that feels like maybe that is part of it as well, right? Like that decoupling virtual services. But
yeah, this is not, I mean, this goes away towards using, I mean, because you can use HTTP routes essentially with, and you can configure where they will be attached, but it's not going the way to decouple from Istio. And I thought about it, to be honest, but I don't know how this can actually be done, because I mean, you need authorization policies in the end to secure the namespaces. So I mean, you need a way.
I mean, so Kubeflow is the components. I mean, more like for Notebooks 2.0 or pipelines, we're trying to support it so that you could use either the reference manifest auth or you could plug your own auth in, right? That was more the idea. So like, for example, other distributions already do that with like Red Hat does that and things like that. So that's more what I was saying, more to enable those kind of workloads where someone just wants notebooks and then they want to implement the controller, but not SDO, for example. And similarly, yeah. That's not related to this specifically. I'm just saying it's connected though a little bit. Anyway, what's the next step, you think?
The next step for this effort, I think the first step is to reach reach an agreement in the proposal, and the GSOC student is already working on some PRs that are following what is proposed, but we need first the proposal and the community to be so the workflow is we agree on what we want, like as a community, then the code needs to be updated in some controllers, and then we can have like we can start updating manifests. That's the process.
My main question is the first step just making it so that it's possible to do this, right? And so like, where are the things that are physically blocking it? Not making it the default, but like making it so that you could do it, right? That's
I think those are the code changes that the GSOC student is working on.
I'm also wondering, what are you using in Notebooks v2 for pluggable authentication? Because I think we should try to use the same. So I'm wondering, does this also just rely on OAuth2 proxy and then tokens? Or is it something completely different?
No, so what the pluggable is the same as what's pluggable for every other part of Kubeflow, which is however you choose to do it, you end up with your requests being injected with a user ID and a group ID header. So like, you can do that with a JWT that sits outside and then have a sidecar that runs in the containers, or you can do it through Istio, or you can do it some other way. So that's the pluggable. Like the pluggable is that requests are authenticated by something else. That is the pluggable, if you know what I mean.
For example, KFP and model registry, they already natively support the service account tokens.
So that is a separate, so service account tokens are a separate part of the auth flow, yes. So if your app needs it, which I don't think Notebooks does.
Yeah, but this would help to make it more pluggable, because if everyone would just work with the service account tokens.
But they may not exist for users, right?
I mean, as long as they have the default editor, they can.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like the Notebooks very commonly aren't, right?
I think Notebooks run by default as default editor.
Like all I'm saying but don't forget, Notebooks is a UI mostly. So like what I'm talking about is there could be 100 people who have access to a namespace.
Yeah.
So like they can't have the service account token. And also you shouldn't exfiltrate the service account token. They're going to be injected with the UI with like a cookie of some kind. And all I'm saying is that however that happens is pluggable. And I think that's why we're talking about in the dashboard repo, abstracting out that auth just so that it's shown to be an example, because not every distribution uses it. Anyway, these are separate questions, but like the pluggable auth is just something injects the username and group ID headers.
Yeah, the question is, it's a general question. Do we want to stay with the group ID headers and the user ID headers, or do we want to move away from them?
I think that doing anything else makes it less pluggable for people to build their own Kubeflow distributions, just because we should have a reference and like an example in the world of showing how you would do it. But like, for example, I'm pretty sure that what you could do is just co-pack, effectively do what the sidecar does, but in the app, you know what I mean? Like in the container, sorry. And that's what Red Hat does. But anyway, these are separate discussions around auth and stuff. Like I'm not if people want Istio ambient mesh, if we're blocking distributions from being able to create it and it doesn't have a significant overhead, unless Julius has a specific concern about security or about maintainability.
I mean, this is driven by Canonical from Kimonos and Orpheus. And I also think it makes sense. We just have to see how we get there, how much time we spend on long term. That's the goal.
So I guess maybe
I just don't want to break it for users too much. That's my goal. I want to make it continuous release that people can slowly upgrade.
I don't think that's something that will require a lot of maintenance in the future. It's
yeah, I mean, I don't know. We've kind of gone a bit over time, but is the so what's the next step? That's what I'm asking. Like I guess because we'd need to get buy-in we need to agree on a method of implementing the config. I think that's standard across all the apps, because all the apps have a relatively standard situation right now. If we choose to do this, like, so that's the primary. It's like just making sure that we don't interfere with any historical stuff, but also add the ability to use this. That's what I would suggest, right?
yeah. I think all the controllers already provide like related configurations, so it won't be hard to follow the rationale of what's already there. It's not like we're introducing like a completely new thing.
Yeah,
for example, a lot of controllers already have like use Istio environment variables, let's say.
Yeah, so my only concern is always just like, obviously, where does Kubeflow end and distributions begin? And in this case, it's more like just making it so that distributions don't have to fork the controllers to use them. That's kind of my goal here, right? Not like, because right now, any of the actual manifests you could already modify yourself to support Istio.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But for the only place where we're blocking is the controllers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's where I'm saying, like, we just need to get agreement on that piece. Like, I think you could even fight that on each individual app, or we could try and have a requirement, but, you know, like that's.
I think so. The goal of the proposal is to show a way where this can be done, so we can use it in order to better understand the change that we will need to do in the code in the controllers. So that's the and then if we want more users to adopt ambient, then we can provide this as an overlay, but the blocking part is the code in the controllers.
Julius, how does this fit into like abstracting the auth and the reference auth into the dashboard repo? Like, you know, moving the auth to proxy manifests to be authored in the dashboard repo.
Isn't it independent?
I'm just wondering, like, because if that's our plan to make it so that, you know, there's an example, would we put an example in there for ambient or something as well? Or would it not have any effect?
I think this is really separate. So the auth2 proxy configuration you don't need to adjust, I think, for istio-armband, at least I hope.
Yeah,
But this is also something, first I need to get Kubeflow dashboard needs to get up and running. And then we're also now, Kimonos is on vacation, so we'll also start merging PRs there now to get a basic, to have a basic release if possible. And later on iterate every time and get it better. But we need to have something releasable. Even if it's not perfect, it's not something I'm striving for. I'm striving for something that is good enough to be used.
We're quite over, I think. So someone's got their hand up as well. Maybe we should.
Yeah. Hey, Matthew, this is Dheeraj. I just want to understand, right? So what they're proposing is that there's just going to be like an overlay, right? Optional for people who want to use this. And maybe there are some changes to, it sounds like there are some changes, not maybe, right? To operators as well.
Yes,
But
so
those but those operator changes are still Istio related changes, right? Like I'm assuming that the current operators also have some Istio related code or controllers have Istio related code that needs to be
like
changed so that it accommodates this configuration as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like actually what you said is completely accurate.
So my concern is just like I don't know if we need to suggest anything about the manifests changing. I think we just need to enable distributions to not have to fork the controllers. That's kind of my proposal, right? That I don't want to be like supporting both deployment methods in the manifest repo. I do like, at least I don't. I mean, Julius maybe does, but I doubt it.
I think that's what they're proposing though, right? That there would be an overlay that would
But
allow
then if there's an overlay, it needs to be in each of the repos because the repos are the source of the manifests.
Yeah.
So like, let's not do that. Is kind of what I'm saying, and let's just instead make it so that it's possible to do at first. Like that's the first step, right? To make it so that it's possible.
It's a proof of concept.
But it requires changes to the controllers, and then there's no obvious migration path. And as soon as we start documenting migration path, we're dealing with stuff that we shouldn't really be dealing with as the community.
I don't think that you need like I don't know if we need to have a specific migration path. I mean, that was a non-goal of the proposal. I mean, it's I don't know if Kubeflow should have like a specific migration path because it's two separate configuration options, and that's about. I mean, that's something that Istio should provide to users, not us.
No, but like our configs will be already there. Like all the authorization policies will already have been applied. So to migrate, you would need to delete the ones that are there, make equivalent ones. And I don't even know if it's...
There shouldn't be, theoretically, there shouldn't be any changes to the authorization policies and stuff though, right?
There's no authorization policies in this, right? Or is... Sorry, virtual services. Sorry, virtual services.
Sorry,
I meant to say virtual service when I said authorization policy. So you'd need to delete all your virtual services.
Okay.
And so like there's no migration, like it's a breaking migration for people. And again, that's like starting to get to the point where it's like Kubeflow itself shouldn't be documenting that, distribution should be. And then so that's what I'm saying, like I don't want to block Canonical from releasing this feature to their users. So I think that's the first step, right? Make it so that that is not impossible.
We're aligned on this. So the if we can, I think we should have the discussion in the PR as well. But if we think that there's no reason to merge this proposal and we're fine with discussing separately on its component, that's fine by me. And but I think that it's hard to understand the changes that are needed to be done in each component without having an understanding of how it will look like for the whole Kubeflow platform. That's where I'm getting. I don't think it will be easy for someone to just read some docs in Istio and then be like, okay, we need to do those 3 changes, and those will be enough for someone to make their own manifest. I'm okay with not. I think it's fine to not having an overlay in the end in Kubeflow manifest. Although it will help users, it will help bring more adoption, I think. And since Istio is moving this way, we should also consider. But the overlay is not the important bit here. I agree with Matthew that the important bit is to not block the controllers to be able to support both modes. So then its distribution can do their thing.
Like
But
my
I think
perspective is we should
it's
have the
hard
overlay once that's the one that the reference spec is, right? You know, it's more like that. Like
Sorry?
Kubeflow shouldn't have multiple deployment methods upstream. Is kind of what I'm saying. Yeah, like, and so like that's what I'm saying. So like, yeah, I just don't want to block. So but then what you're asking is for many different working groups to implement a change, right? So like, you can't just demand that a working group implements a feature, right? You have to actually contribute, right? So like, my suspicion is that there isn't resource to do this, but if there is resource to do this, then like, great. But if it impacts, it's like, it feels like it's one of those things where it's a per working group kind of question, right? Because it's like they have to implement it in their app. You know, like for example, you're going to start running into issues with Notebooks v2, for example, because we're already using HTTP proxies for non-SDO purposes, for example. But like routes, sorry,
So-
HTTP routes.
Yeah, Matthew, Canonical is proposing this, right? But is there any way to measure
Well, they have to
this in the
propose it to
community,
like
right?
both. I guess like this is a architectural question for each app as well, right? Like it's both.
Right. No, I was saying, is there a way to measure this in the user community, right? Like get some feedback about, is this a task?
Users are,
right?
again, in this case, it's purely about who's going to actually do the work, right? Like, and who's responsible to do it. Like, it'd be like me making a KEP to say Spark operator should add XYZ feature. It's like, maybe they should, but like, I can't force them to.
Yeah,
It's
but
an open source project.
the thing is that we already work is already being done by the GSOC student and
For every single part of Kubeflow?
Sorry?
For every part of Kubeflow?
Not for every. I think there are open PRs already for profile controller and also for notebook, TensorBoard, PVC viewer controller. There are already open PRs, yeah. And the only bit that's missing was the KFP, but with the change that's been done now in KFP, probably this will not be needed. So, but in order for someone to accept the change and be like, okay, when this fits the notebook controller, let's say, they need to have like the whole picture in mind, and that would not be possible without something like this proposal or like a POC or I don't know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we are a bit too much over time, so I would probably just continue, but I have to drop.
Yeah, like all I'm saying is like I just don't want to have multiple upstream reference deployment methods. That's my only major concern. Is like we already are struggling to maintain one. You know, like
you can feel free to leave that feedback also on the KEP.
Because, I mean, is this also one of those things where like you can request something, but it has to happen anyway? So I think we've gone a bit over time. Yeah. Is there anything else people really need to bring up before we close out? I know that sorry, Hashat, that I think someone wanted to donate this, but this feels like another one of those examples of donation, but. Okay, well, I'm gonna stop the recording for now. People can feel free to stay around and chat if they like.